The stars shimmered across the viewport of the Endeavor as Elaine Rivers took a deep breath. Today was the day humanity would meet the Galactic Council for the first time. After decades of searching the stars for signs of intelligent life, humans had finally received an invitation to join the interstellar community. As Earth's lead diplomat, Elaine felt the weight of 7 billion lives on her shoulders. 5 minutes until docking, announced the ship's captain over the speaker system. Elaine straightened her blue diplomatic uniform and turned to face her team. Commander Alan Murphy stood with perfect military posture, his eyes alert and watchful. Dr. Kate Donovan, Earth's top xenobiologist, couldn't hide her excitement as she reviewed her notes one last time. General Frank Patterson maintained a neutral expression, but Elaine knew he was analyzing every detail of their approach to the massive council station. "Remember," Elaine said to them, "we represent all of humanity today. We know almost nothing about these species or their customs. Watch, learn, and follow my lead." The Endeavor slowed as it approached the enormous space station. The structure resembled a silver flower with 17 massive petals extending from a central hub. Each petal represented one of the member species of the Galactic Council, or so they had been told in the brief communication that had preceded this meeting. "Look at the size of that thing," whispered Alan. "Their engineering capabilities must be centuries beyond ours." The ship docked with a gentle bump. After a series of clicks and hisses, the airlock door slid open. A tall, slender alien with silvery skin and 4 arms stood waiting for them. Its face featured 3 large eyes arranged in a triangle pattern. "Welcome, humans," the alien said in perfect English. "I am Greeth, your assigned guide. The council awaits your presence." Elaine stepped forward. "Thank you for your welcome, Greeth. We are honored to be here." Greeth led them through corridors, filled with beings of all shapes and sizes. Some floated in bubbles of liquid, others moved on multiple legs, and a few appeared to be made of living crystal. Despite their preparation, the human delegation couldn't help but stare. "So many different species," Kate whispered excitedly. "Each one evolved under completely different conditions." Greeth's head swiveled 180 degrees to look at Kate without breaking stride. "Indeed, Doctor. The Council represents the 17 most advanced civilizations in this sector of the galaxy. Some have been spacefarers for thousands of your Earth years." They entered a massive circular chamber. 17 raised platforms formed a ring around a central speaking area. On each platform sat representatives of the different council species. Some were alone, others in groups, but all turned to observe the humans as they entered. "The human delegation from planet Earth," announced a booming voice that seemed to come from everywhere at once. Greeth gestured toward the center of the room. "Please take your position in the speaking circle." Elaine led her team to the indicated spot. From here, she could see all the council members clearly. She noticed many of them using devices to scan the humans. A being with blue crystalline skin and glowing white eyes rose from the highest platform. It wore an elaborate robe covered in symbols that shifted and changed. "I am High Chancellor Zixtar of the Valori, the oldest member race of the Council. On behalf of all civilized species, I welcome humanity to the galactic community." Elaine bowed slightly. "High Chancellor, we bring greetings from Earth. We are honored by this invitation and eager to learn from the Council's wisdom." The High Chancellor made a gesture that might have been a smile. "We have observed your species for some time. Your development has been interesting. Most species take twice as long to achieve spaceflight once they discover atomic energy." General Patterson shifted uncomfortably beside Elaine. "We are quick learners," Elaine said carefully. "Indeed," said another council member, a being with tentacles and compound eyes. "Perhaps too quick. Your weapons technology has developed faster than your philosophical maturity." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. "With respect," Elaine replied, "humanity has made great strides in peace and cooperation in recent decades. After nearly destroying yourselves multiple times," said a reptilian being with feathered crests, "our records show 27 instances where your civilization came close to self-annihilation." Elaine felt the conversation slipping away from her. These beings knew more about human history than she had expected. The High Chancellor raised a crystal hand for silence. We did not invite you here to judge, but to welcome. However, there are conditions to your membership. A holographic display appeared in the center of the room showing the solar system. As the council watched, Elaine and her team learned their fate. Earth would receive limited access to council technology, mainly medical and environmental. Humans could establish colonies only on approved planets. The manufacturing of certain weapons would be prohibited. Earth's military ships would be limited in number and power. In exchange, humanity would gain protection under council law and access to trade routes. They would receive guidance from more developed species. Commander Allen leaned close to Elaine's ear. They're treating us like children. Like dangerous children, General Patterson added quietly. For hours, the council detailed the restrictions and benefits. Elaine listened carefully, asking occasional questions but revealing little of, her thoughts. She noted which species seemed sympathetic to humans and which viewed them with suspicion. Finally, the High Chancellor addressed them directly. Do you accept these terms of provisional membership, Ambassador Rivers? Elaine took a moment before answering. She had noticed something during the long meeting. Despite their advanced technology and supposed unity, the council species had their own divisions and politics. Some clearly feared humanity's potential. Others seemed curious or even impressed. On behalf of Earth, we accept these initial terms, she said finally. We look forward to proving ourselves worthy of full membership in time. The High Chancellor's eyes flickered. Initial terms? I believe I made it clear these conditions are not temporary. Elaine smiled politely. All things change with time, High Chancellor. Humanity is young in the stars, but we learn quickly. Ripple of unease moved through the council chamber. As they left the chamber, Dr. Kate whispered, They're afraid of us. Did you notice? Even with all their power. General Patterson nodded. They've never seen a species like us before. We adapt, faster than they can predict. What now? Asked Commander Allen. Elaine watched the aliens in the corridor, noticing how they observed the humans with a mixture of curiosity and concern. Now, she said quietly, we play by their rules. Learn everything we can. Build relationships where possible. She paused. And prepare for the day when we'll need to make them see us as equals. As the Endeavour departed the station, Elaine watched the massive structure shrink in the viewport. On the surface, Earth had accepted its place as a minor player in galactic politics. But she knew her people. Humans would not remain quiet or compliant for long. Somewhere in the council chamber, High Chancellor Zix Tar was feeling the first twinge of uncertainty about the newest species to join the galactic community. 5 years passed since humanity's first meeting with the Galactic Council. Earth had changed in that time. New technologies filtered down from the Council, though much more slowly than humans had hoped. Small colonies now existed on Mars, Europa, and 2 approved planets in nearby star systems. Trade ships moved between Earth and alien worlds, bringing strange goods and even stranger ideas. Admiral Sophia Williams stood at the window of the presidential office, looking out at the Washington Monument. Behind her, President Victor Reyes sat with the Joint Chiefs of Staff around a large oak table. The mood was tense. Another rejection, President Reyes said, tossing a tablet onto the table. The Council has denied our request to establish a colony in the Proxima system. Again. General Ben Harper shook his head. That's the 3rd rejection this year. They claim the system needs environmental protection, but last month they approved a Valori mining operation there. They still see us as children, said Admiral Williams, turning from the window. Dangerous children who need supervision. Ambassador Greg Martinez, who had replaced Elaine Rivers 2 years ago, straightened his tie. The council members talk about us when they think I can't hear them. They're surprised by how quickly we've adapted their technology. It makes them nervous, President. Reyes rubbed his temples. I'm tired of being treated this way. We've kept every agreement, followed every rule. What will it take for them to see us as equals? Admiral Williams walked slowly to the table, her face thoughtful. Perhaps we've been too eager to please, too open. She paused. Perhaps it's time we stopped talking so much. The room fell silent as everyone considered her words. Explain, said the president. The council species communicate constantly. They debate, argue, share information freely. It's their way. Williams placed her hands on the table and leaned forward. But humans have another skill. We can be quiet. We can keep secrets. And nothing scares people more than when a normally talkative person suddenly goes silent. A slow smile spread across President Reyes's face. Operation Silent Watch. That's what we'll call it. Over the next 18 months, a careful change took place. Human representatives at council meetings spoke less and less. When asked for opinions on galactic matters, they gave short, non-committal answers. Ambassador Martinez became known for his enigmatic smile and his habit of saying, "Earth will take that under advisement." At first, most council members seemed relieved by humanity's quieter presence. Some even commented that humans were finally learning appropriate behavior. But as the months passed, unease began to grow. Dr. Nathan Clark, a brilliant engineer who had studied alien technology, led a team that began creating new inventions. They took council technology and changed it in ways the aliens had never considered. When council scientists asked about these modifications, humans would shrug and say, "Just a small improvement." Meanwhile, Earth established trade relationships with frontier worlds outside council influence. The insectoid Krell became particularly important partners. Tough and practical, they appreciated human resourcefulness and didn't ask too many questions. On a trading outpost near Krell space, Lara O'Neill, Earth's unofficial representative, sat across from Kazid TK, a high-ranking Krell merchant. The Tadir Krell's mandibles clicked softly as he pushed a data crystal across the table. "These routes avoid council monitoring stations," Kazid TK said. "They will serve our mutual interests." Lara nodded, slipping the crystal into her pocket. "The Earth government appreciates your discretion." She placed a small box on the table. "A gift, seeds of Earth plants that thrive in your world's atmosphere. Your biologists will find them interesting." The Krell's compound eyes gleamed. Both knew the seeds were just a cover for the real gift. Detailed schematics of new Earth technology that would benefit Krell ships. "The Council grows concerned about your species," Kazit TK remarked. "They wonder what humans are planning." Lara smiled slightly. "We're simply finding our place in the galaxy." By saying almost nothing in Council meetings? By withdrawing your experts from joint projects? The Krell's mandibles clicked in what might have been laughter. A fascinating strategy. Back at the Council headquarters, Thrixaval, an intelligence officer from the amphibious Morak species, delivered his report to a private committee of Council security experts. "Human behavior has changed significantly," he said, displaying charts on a holographic screen. "Their communications have decreased by 63%. Their questions about our technology have nearly stopped. Yet their advancement continues, at an alarming rate." "What are they hiding?" asked a Valori representative. "Unknown," admitted Thrixval, "but my sources report increased activity at their colony on Europa. They're building something, but our observers are kept far from the construction sites." "What about their military?" asked a reptilian Sorak. "Their official fleet remains within allowed limits. However, we've detected unusual movements of unmarked ships near human space. When questioned, they claim these are private vessels beyond government control." The High Chancellor, who had been listening silently, finally spoke. "When I first met the humans, I sensed a force within them unlike other young species. They accepted our restrictions too easily." He tapped his crystal fingers on the table. "Watch them more closely. When humans stop explaining themselves, they are at their most dangerous." On Europa, beneath 2 kilometers of ice, Dr. Nathan Clark led a visitor through a massive underground facility. Commander Alan Murphy, now promoted to admiral, looked with satisfaction at the rows of ships under construction. "How long until they're ready?" he asked. 3 months for the first squadron," Dr. Clark replied. "We've incorporated Krell stealth technology with our own innovations. The Council sensors won't detect them. And the weapons systems, Dr. Clark smiled. Unlike anything the Council has seen, we've taken their allowed technology and found applications they never imagined. Admiral Murphy nodded with satisfaction. The Council thinks our silence means we've accepted our place. They don't understand that humans are never more active than when we've stopped talking. In his private quarters on the Council station, Ambassador Martinez received an encrypted message from Earth. After reading it, he deleted it completely and practiced his expression in the mirror. Tomorrow the Council would ask about unusual energy readings detected near Jupiter. He perfected his smile, pleasant, mysterious, and just unsettling enough to make the Council representatives wonder what humans were really thinking. The message from President Reyes had been clear. Keep them guessing. The less we say, the more they'll worry. Soon they'll be ready to offer us anything just to make us talk again. As Martinez practiced his non-answers for tomorrow's meeting, billions of humans throughout Earth and its colonies continued working, building, and preparing, all in a silence that was beginning to echo uncomfortably through the Council chambers. The emergency lights in the Council chamber pulsed with an ominous red glow. Representatives from all 17 species sat in tense silence as reports of the Zeronian attack played on the main view screen. The Zeronians, a warrior species from beyond Council space, had struck without warning. An important Council outpost in the Centauri sector had been destroyed, with all 300 inhabitants killed. High Chancellor Zixtar's crystalline form seemed dimmer than usual as he addressed the assembly. The Zeronian Empire has ignored our communications. Their fleet is moving toward 3 more of our outposts. We must decide on a unified response. All eyes turned to the human representative. Since joining the Council, humans had developed a reputation for unusual but effective military tactics. Despite restrictions on their ships and weapons, Earth's small fleet had shown remarkable capabilities in joint exercises. Ambassador Greg Martinez sat quietly, his face betraying no emotion. When he realized everyone was waiting for him to speak, he simply said, "Earth offers its condolences for your losses." "Is that all?" asked the Sorak representative, scales flaring in irritation. "We need strategic options, not condolences." Martinez spread his hands. "Earth will, of course, comply with any Council decision on this matter. But what do you recommend?" pressed the High Chancellor. "I'm sure the Council's military experts have excellent plans," Martinez replied with his now famous slight smile. "Earth has limited experience with the Zeronians." The Council members exchanged troubled glances. For 3 years, humans had grown increasingly quiet in meetings. Now, faced with a genuine crisis, they offered nothing. "Will Earth commit its ships to a joint defense fleet?" asked a Morax representative. "Certainly," Martinez nodded. "Though most of our vessels are currently patrolling our own colonies, it may take some time to redeploy them." After the meeting, the High Chancellor approached Martinez privately. "Your behavior puzzles me, Ambassador. In the past, humans were eager to share their thoughts, sometimes too eager. Now, when we could genuinely benefit from your perspective, you say almost nothing." Martinez bowed slightly. "We're still learning our place in the galactic community, Chancellor. We wouldn't want to overstep." "I sense there is more you aren't telling me," the Chancellor said, his crystal eyes glowing intensely. "There's always more to tell, isn't there?" Martinez replied cryptically before walking away. 3 weeks later, the situation had grown dire. The Zeronian fleet had destroyed 2 more outposts and was moving toward a major Council colony. Council ships fought bravely but were outmatched by Zeronian weapons. Earth had sent only 2 official vessels to join the defense, claiming the others were unavoidably delayed. On the bridge of the Zeronian flagship, Commander Drez surveyed the battle with satisfaction. The Council forces were retreating, just as predicted. His species had waited generations for this moment, when the Council would be revealed as weak and unable to protect its members. "Sir," called his sensor officer, "unusual readings at the edge of the system." "Council reinforcements?" Drez asked. Unknown configuration. Not matching any council signatures. Before Drez could respond, 12 sleek ships appeared from seemingly nowhere. They were smaller than Zeronian battleships, but moved with incredible speed. Their design was unfamiliar, yet something about them suggested human influence. Open. Communications, Drez ordered. No response came. The unknown ships maintained total communication silence as they accelerated toward the Zeronian fleet. Raise shields, target those vessels, Drez commanded. The first volley from his ships passed, harmlessly through empty space. The unknown vessels had changed position faster than the targeting systems could track. What followed was not a battle, but a slaughter. The mysterious ships used weapons unlike anything the Zeronians had encountered. Their shields collapsed under precisely targeted strikes. Their engines failed as if someone had simply turned off a switch. Within 20 minutes, half the Zeronian fleet was disabled or destroyed. Commander Drez ordered a retreat, but it was too late. His flagship shuddered as systems failed throughout the ship. The last thing he saw before the view screen went dark was one of the unknown vessels approaching, still maintaining its eerie silence. 2 days later, an emergency council meeting was called. The mysterious ships had disappeared after defeating the Zeronians, leaving council vessels to rescue survivors and claim victory. These ships, said the Valori defense minister, displaying images on the central screen, appear to utilize technology that combines council designs with unknown elements. Their hulls bear no markings, yet their configuration suggests human engineering. All eyes turn to Ambassador Martinez. Earth is pleased that the Zeronian threat has been neutralized, he said blandly. Were those your ships? Demanded the Saurak representative. Earth's official vessels were both at the rendezvous point as agreed, Martinez replied. As for these mystery ships, we have no record of them in our fleet registry. That was not an answer, hissed the Saurak. Martinez shrugged. There are many independent operators in the galaxy, perhaps some humans who left Earth service, perhaps mercenaries who admire human ship design. It's difficult to say. Impossible! The Morak security chief slammed his webbed hand on the table. Those ships use technology beyond what we've shared with Earth. They operated with military precision. This was no band of mercenaries. How fortunate for us all, then, that they intervened, Martinez said with his slight smile. Later that day, in a secure council facility, intelligence officers from 6 species reviewed footage of the battle. The tactics, said a Valori analyst, match theoretical models developed by human military strategists, models they shared with us 3 years ago, then suddenly stopped discussing. And these energy readings, added a Morak scientist, suggest they've modified council shield technology in ways we considered, but abandoned as too unstable. Thrixaval, now promoted to head of council security, looked grim. While we restricted them from developing certain weapons, they created entirely new ones that technically didn't violate our agreements. But how did they build such ships in secret? Asked the Saurak representative. We monitor their official shipyards, Thrixaval replied. But there are regions of their space where our observers have limited access. Their Europa base, for instance. We thought it was a research facility. In a private meeting room on the human embassy ship, Ambassador Martinez met with Security Director Lara O'Neill. She had just returned from a secret mission coordinating with the Mystery Fleet. The Council is in an uproar, Martinez said. Half of them want to thank us. The other half want to sanction us. Let them try to prove it was us, Lara replied, with a slight smile. The ships have disappeared back to their hidden bases. No evidence remains. President Reyes is pleased, Martinez noted. The operation exposed the Council's military weakness while demonstrating our strength, all without officially breaking any agreements. And our new friends are impressed, Lara added. The Krell have offered expanded trade agreements. 3 frontier worlds have requested security partnerships. Even the Zeronians sent a back-channel message expressing interest in negotiations, with us, not the Council. Martinez nodded. The silent strategy is working better than we hoped. The less we say, the more they fear, Lara finished. The council species evolved for direct communication. They find our silence terrifying because they can't predict what we'll do next. As Martinez prepared for the next council session, he practiced his blank expression in the mirror. Tomorrow they would demand explanations, evidence, accusations. He would offer them nothing but polite, empty phrases and that slight smile that had become humanity's most powerful diplomatic weapon. 8 years after humanity's first contact with the Galactic Council, the once unified body had fallen into disarray. What began as whispered concerns about humans had grown into open disagreement and faction building. Council sessions, once models of calm deliberation, now regularly dissolved into heated arguments. High Chancellor Zixtar's crystalline form looked duller than ever as he called yet another emergency session to order. "We must reach a decision on the human question," he announced to the assembled representatives. "Our indecision makes us appear weak." The Sarak representative rose immediately. "The evidence is clear. Humans have violated multiple technology restrictions. They have built unauthorized ships. They have established unapproved colonies in at least 3 systems beyond our monitoring range. We must act decisively to contain them before they grow any stronger." "Contain them how?" asked the Morax representative, his webbed hands spread wide. "Our intelligence indicates they now possess defensive capabilities that match or exceed our own. Any attempt to force compliance could lead to conflict. We might not win," the Valori science minister added. "We must acknowledge reality. In just 8 Earth years, they have adapted and improved technologies that took our species centuries to develop. Their learning curve is unprecedented. All the more reason to act now," hissed the Saurak. "Each year we delay, they grow more powerful." From his seat at the human delegation position, Ambassador Greg Martinez watched the debate with a practiced, neutral expression. He had said nothing for the entire 3-hour session. The council had grown accustomed to human silence, but it still made many representatives uncomfortable when Martinez would simply observe for days at a time without contributing. "Perhaps we should ask the human representative for input," suggested the Krell observer. Though not full council members, the insectoid Krell had recently been granted observer status, largely due to their growing economic importance and their known ties with Earth. All eyes turned to Martinez. After a deliberate pause that stretched, just long enough to become uncomfortable, he spoke. "Earth appreciates the Council's concerns. We remain committed to peaceful cooperation with all species." "That tells us nothing!" The Sarek representative's scales flared in frustration. "Will you comply with Council regulations or not? Will you allow full inspections of your facilities? Will you cease your unauthorized technological development?" Martinez smiled his famous slight smile. "We're just finding our place in the stars, as all species must." The chamber erupted in angry voices. The High Chancellor called for order, but the shouting continued. Martinez remained seated, still smiling, as chaos swirled around him. Far from the council chambers, on a planet at the edge of human space, Detective Olivia Grant led a small team through the dark corridors of an abandoned Valori research station. Her team moved with practiced efficiency, using scanning devices to locate specific data storage units. "Watch the time," Olivia reminded them. "Council patrol ships pass this sector every 6 hours." John Weber, her communications specialist, worked quickly to download files from a secured terminal. "Almost done. These contain the complete schematics for their new shielding technology. The stuff they weren't planning to share with us for another 50 years. Olivia nodded. In the 3 years since she'd joined Earth's Covert Intelligence Service, her team had infiltrated dozens of Council facilities. Each mission provided pieces of a larger puzzle, the true capabilities and secrets of the Council species, Gadawam. "Something interesting here," called Paul Rice from another terminal. "Looks like communications between the High Chancellor and the Sauric military. They've been discussing a potential first strike against Earth's main colonies." "Download it, all," Olivia ordered. "That's exactly the kind of evidence President Reyes needs." Meanwhile, in Earth's presidential office, Security Director Lara O'Neill presented her latest report to President Victor Reyes. "Our shadow network now includes 23 non-council worlds," she explained, displaying a star map with highlighted systems. The Krell have been particularly helpful in expanding our influence. They've introduced us to 3 more trading species who feel the Council has treated them unfairly. President Reyes studied the map thoughtfully. And our technology exchange programs? Proceeding better than expected, Lara replied. Our engineers continue to find applications for alien technology that the original designers never considered. Dr. Clark's team has integrated Krell stealth systems with Morax power cells, and our own AI to create ships that can remain undetected indefinitely. And the Council? Fracturing along predictable lines, Lara said with satisfaction. Our silence strategy has accelerated existing tensions. The species that fear us are pushing for harsh measures against Earth, while those that see us as potential allies argue for treating us as equals. And our contingency plan? Lara's expression grew serious. Ready to implement on your command. Mr. President, our hidden fleet can reach every major Council world within hours. Our intelligence teams have identified all critical infrastructure. If the Council moves against us, we can respond decisively. President Reyes nodded. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Our goal isn't conflict but respect. In that moment, his secure communication device chimed. It was Ambassador Martinez calling from the Council station. Sir, the situation is deteriorating faster than expected, Martinez reported. The Sorak faction is pushing for military action against Earth. They've proposed a resolution to classify humans as a dangerous developing species subject to containment protocols. Do they have the votes? Reyes asked. It's close. The High Chancellor is trying to delay the vote, but pressure is building. Continue as planned, Reyes instructed. Maintain our position of minimal communication. Let them argue amongst themselves. After the call ended, the President turned to Lara. It may be time to break our silence. Prepare the final phase of Operation Silent Watch. Back in the Council chamber, the debate had devolved into open hostility. Species that had cooperated peacefully for centuries now hurled accusations at each other. The Sorak representative pointed a clawed finger at the Krell observer. You have chosen your side with the humans. Your trade agreements undermine Council unity. The Krell's mandibles clicked rapidly. We recognize opportunity where others see only threat. Humans reward cooperation while the Council demands submission. In his private quarters, High Chancellor Zixtar could not sleep. For thousands of years, the Valori had led the Council with wisdom and foresight. Now, that unity was crumbling, because of one young species who refused to follow the established order. The most troubling part was the dreams. Many Council species had begun reporting the same phenomenon, disturbing dreams about humans watching silently from shadows, humans appearing suddenly with strange technologies, humans knowing secrets they shouldn't know. Zixtar himself had experienced these dreams. Last night he had dreamed of Earthships appearing suddenly above all Council worlds simultaneously. In the dream, the ships had simply waited, sending no messages, making no demands, their presence alone enough to inspire terror. The High Chancellor touched the communication panel. Send a message to Earth. Request a private meeting with President Reyes himself. It's time we spoke directly without intermediaries. As the message was transmitted, Earth's hidden network of ships, spies, and allies continued to grow stronger. The human silence had become their greatest weapon, a silence that spoke volumes about their patience, their resolve, and their capacity for actions that the Council could not predict or control. In the void between stars, unmarked ships of human design moved quietly through the darkness, waiting for the order that would at last break humanity's calculated silence. 10 years after humanity's first contact with the Galactic Council, the Grand Council chamber fell into a hush unlike any before. For 3 years, humans had maintained their strategy of minimal communication. Ambassador Greg Martinez had become famous for his slight smile and vague responses. Earth representatives attended meetings but rarely spoke. They watched, listened, and said almost nothing. Today was different. The chamber was packed with representatives from all 17 Council species plus observers from a dozen non-Council worlds. Even species that normally sent only one delegate had brought full teams. Something big was happening. High Chancellor Zixtar looked up in surprise as the doors opened. Instead of Ambassador Martinez, President Victor Reyes himself entered the Yao chamber, flanked by Admiral Sophia Williams and Security Director Lara O'Neill. This marked the first time an Earth president had personally appeared before the Council since first contact. The Council members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. For years they had debated the human question, while humans themselves remained largely silent. Now suddenly, Earth's leader had arrived unannounced. High Chancellor honored representatives, President Reyes began, his voice clear and strong. For a decade, humanity has observed the workings of this council. We have learned your ways. We have followed your rules. We have listened more than we have spoken. The chamber remained deathly quiet. After years of human silence, every word from Reyes carried enormous weight. Today, that changes. Reyes continued. Today, we will speak plainly about what we have observed. With a gesture to Lara O'Neill, a holographic display activated in the center of the chamber. It showed documents, recordings, and images from across Council space. These are records from Council archives, Reyes explained. They document numerous violations of the Council's own charter. We see evidence of the suppression of developing species. We see secret biological weapons programs that are forbidden by Council law. We see economic exploitation of non-member worlds. The Council erupted in shouts of denial and anger. The High Chancellor banged his crystal hand for order, but the chaos continued. President Reyes waited patiently until the noise subsided. Then he nodded to Admiral Williams, who activated another holographic display. This one showed communication logs between Council military leaders. These records, Reyes said quietly, show that certain Council members have been planning a preemptive strike against Earth's colonies. They feared our rapid development and sought to contain us by force. The Saurak representative rose in fury. This is an outrage. How did you obtain classified Council communications? This proves humans have been spying on Council facilities. We prefer the term verifying, Reyes replied calmly. For a decade we have watched and learned. We have seen how you treat species you consider lesser. We have witnessed your hypocrisy, and we have prepared accordingly. With another gesture, the holographic display changed again. Now it showed something that made every Council member freeze in shock. The image displayed thousands of unmarked ships positioned near critical Council worlds and installations, ships that Council detection systems had never noticed. As we speak, Reyes continued, human vessels maintain position near every major Council world, station, and strategic installation. They have been there for months undetected by your security systems. Engineer Sam Bradley stepped forward. He was a small, unassuming man, but his quiet voice carried throughout the chamber. We developed technology to mask our presence years ago, he explained. A combination of Krell stealth systems, modified Valori energy dampeners, and human innovation. Your detection systems see what we want them to see. The High Chancellor's crystalline body had lost almost all its luster. This is an act of war, he whispered. No. President Reyes shook his head. This is a demonstration. Had we wanted war, we could have struck at any time in the past 3 years. We did not. We will not. Humanity does not desire conflict. He stepped closer to the central podium, looking directly at the High Chancellor. But we will no longer accept second-class status. We propose a new galactic charter, one with true equality among species, transparent sharing of technology, and respect for sovereignty. Lara O'Neill distributed data tablets to each Council representative. These contain our proposal in detail. We have included input from 28 non-Council worlds who share our concerns about the current structure. The Council chamber erupted again, this time in a chaos of panicked discussions. Some species immediately called for surrender, others for resistance. The Krell observer clicked his mandibles in what seemed like amusement. The Valori scientists huddled together, examining the technical specifications of the human ships with expressions of amazement. The High Chancellor raised his hands for silence. When the chamber finally quieted, he looked directly at President Reyes. His crystal hands trembled slightly as he asked, "What happens if we refuse?" President Reyes simply smiled, the same slight smile that Ambassador Martinez had made famous. He said nothing, letting the silence speak for itself. The silence stretched for 1 minute, then 2. The psychological impact was devastating. For a decade, the council had grown increasingly unnerved by human silence. Now, faced with evidence of human ships surrounding their worlds, the silence was unbearable. "You must understand our position," the High Chancellor finally said, his voice unsteady. "When your species joined the council, you were barely space-capable. In 1 decade, you have evolved," Lara O'Neill supplied. "Adapted. Grown. That's what humans do." Admiral Williams stepped forward. "We don't want to replace the council. We want to improve it. Make it live up to its own ideals. All species equal, all voices heard. And if we agree to your terms?" asked the Morax representative. "What guarantees do we have that humans won't simply take control?" "The same guarantee you have right now," President Reyes answered. "Our word and our actions. We could have chosen dominance. Instead, we choose partnership." For the next 12 hours, the council debated. Species that had feared humans now sought their protection. Those that had dismissed humans as primitive now courted their favor. The Krell formally requested full council membership supported by Earth. By the end of the marathon session, a framework for a new galactic charter had been established. The council would be restructured. Technology sharing would be more open. Development restrictions would be standardized across all species. As President Reyes prepared to return to Earth, High Chancellor Zixtar approached him privately. "I have led the council for 3 centuries, the ancient Valori said. "In all that time, I have never encountered a species like yours. You showed us our own weaknesses by simply watching and waiting." "Sometimes," Reyes replied, "the most powerful statement is silence." "Will you speak more now?" the Chancellor asked. "Now that your point has been made?" President Reyes smiled. "When we have something worth saying." Throughout the galaxy, as news of the Council's restructuring spread, a new understanding emerged about the strange species from Earth. Humans had achieved in silence what most species failed to accomplish with centuries of talking. They had revealed a profound truth that the Council had forgotten, that sometimes the absence of words carries the greatest power of all.